Have you ever held your breath while lifting heavy weights at the gym? Or maybe you clenched your jaw and stopped breathing during sit-ups. The truth is, many people exercise this way. It feels like you can generate more power and stimulate your muscles more effectively. But after hearing what I'm about to tell you today, you'll change your workout habits starting tomorrow. According to recent research from the Cleveland Clinic, the impact of breath holding during exercise on the cardiovascular system is far more serious than we think. In an experiment with 250 weight training participants, researchers found that blood pressure in the breath-holding group surged by an average of 40 to 60 millimeters of mercury in systolic pressure. When normal blood pressure is 120 millimeters of mercury, this means it can spike to 180 millimeters of mercury instantly. This is a hypertensive crisis level. But here's what's truly shocking. This dramatic blood pressure increase happens in just 3 to 5 seconds. Our bodies aren't prepared to handle such sudden changes, especially for those over 40 or with underlying conditions like hypertension or diabetes. This can be life-threatening. I actually used to hold my breath during workouts without thinking twice. It felt like I could lift heavier weights, but everything changed after a friend of mine suddenly collapsed at the gym. He was only 38 years old and had been perfectly healthy. Fortunately, there was no major damage, but what the doctor said still stays with me. Holding your breath during exercise is like planting a bomb in your heart. So what exactly happens inside our bodies? Let me break down this fascinating mechanism step by step. The first thing you need to understand is something called the Valsalva effect. This medical term simply describes the act of holding your breath while exerting force, first documented by Italian physician Antonio Valsalva in 1704. This phenomenon occurs when you forcefully strain with your glottis closed, causing intrathoracic pressure to rise dramatically. A 2022 study from Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine discovered that the Valsalva effect can reduce the amount of venous blood returning to the heart by up to 30%. What happens when less blood enters the heart? Naturally, the amount of blood the heart pumps out also decreases. But our brain and muscles continue to demand oxygen. At this point, our body perceives a crisis and rapidly increases blood pressure to maintain blood flow. What's even more frightening is what happens next. The moment you release your breath after holding it, your blood pressure plummets. Like a roller coaster. Harvard Medical School's cardiovascular research team warns that this instantaneous blood pressure fluctuation places enormous stress on cerebral and cardiac blood vessels. In cases they've observed, such dramatic blood pressure swings have caused retinal blood vessels to rupture, and in severe cases, led to brain vessel damage. The second danger you need to know about is oxygen deprivation. During exercise, you need 2 to 3 times more oxygen than usual. What happens when you hold your breath? Obviously, oxygen supply stops. According to research from the UCLA Sports Medicine Center, holding your breath for just 10 seconds can drop blood oxygen saturation from 95% to 88%. The brain is particularly sensitive to oxygen, being our body's most oxygen-dependent organ. Though it represents only 2% of body weight, it consumes 20% of our total oxygen. When oxygen is lacking, dizziness appears first, and in severe cases, you can lose consciousness. Statistics show that approximately 15% of annual gym accidents are related to excessive breath holding during exercise. But the shocking truth is, this isn't the end. The third danger is cardiac rhythm abnormalities. A 2023 study from the German Sport University revealed something alarming. Among 180 participants who held their breath while lifting heavy weights, 23 showed temporary arrhythmia. That's a concerning 13%. Arrhythmia occurs because rapid blood pressure changes and oxygen deprivation disrupt the heart's electrical signaling system. For people with coronary artery disease or underlying heart conditions, this can lead to serious complications. It could even result in sudden cardiac arrest. The fourth danger is increased intracranial pressure. When you hold your breath, Rising intrathoracic pressure obstructs venous blood flow, affecting cerebral circulation. According to Stanford University's Neuroscience Department research, a strong Valsalva effect can elevate intracranial pressure to 2 or 3 times normal levels. This sudden increase in brain pressure not only causes headaches, but can accumulate microscopic damage to cerebral blood vessels over time when repeated. If you suffer from migraines or chronic headaches, the breath-holding habit during exercise might be worsening your symptoms. The fifth danger appears in an unexpected area: your eyes. Ophthalmologists often discover retinal hemorrhages or subconjunctival bleeding in people who do weight training. This is also due to rapid blood pressure spikes. The delicate blood vessels in the eyes are fragile and cannot withstand sudden pressure increases, causing them to burst. A case study published by the Royal College of Ophthalmologists in the UK showed that many people experienced sudden vision blurring during heavy exercises like deadlifts or squats while holding their breath. Fortunately, most cases are temporary, but occasionally permanent vision damage can occur. So here's the most important question: how should you breathe? The answer is surprisingly simple. Exhale when exerting force and inhale when releasing. For example, during bench press, exhale as you push the bar up and inhale as you lower it. For squats, exhale as you stand up and inhale as you squat down. According to the National Strength and Conditioning Association guidelines, applying this breathing technique actually improves exercise efficiency by 12 to 15%. Proper breathing allows you to generate more power than holding your breath. Plus, cardiovascular stress decreases by more than 60%. But there's more. The depth and rhythm of breathing also matter. The exercise physiology research team at UC Irvine discovered that exercise utilizing diaphragmatic breathing is far more effective than shallow chest breathing. When you breathe deeply using your abdomen, you can utilize over 70% of lung capacity, while chest breathing only uses 30 to 40%. So how do you actually practice this? Let me share a method that worked for me. In the first week, reduce your weight by 20% and focus only on breathing. With lighter weights, learning the breathing pattern becomes much easier. Practice exhaling slowly through your mouth when exerting. Force and inhaling deeply through your nose when releasing. From the second week, gradually increase weight by 10%, while maintaining the breathing pattern. It'll feel awkward at first, but once your body adapts, it will actually feel more comfortable. In my experience, natural breathing becomes ingrained in about 2 to 3 weeks. In the third week, return to your original weight, but consciously check your breathing every set. Pay special attention during the last few repetitions, as this is when you're most likely to unconsciously hold your breath. Now, many people wonder what to do during heavy lifting. Don't powerlifters and bodybuilders also hold their breath? Actually, they don't completely hold their breath. Instead, they use a specialized technique called intra-abdominal pressure breathing. This method involves inhaling and creating abdominal pressure while keeping the glottis slightly open, so air can gradually escape. It's different from completely holding your breath. According to research from the Australian Institute of Sport, this method improves spinal stability by 40%, while blood pressure elevation remains at half the level of typical breath holding. However, this technique is dangerous to attempt without professional guidance. Done incorrectly, it can create even greater pressure. For most people, maintaining a natural breathing pattern is the safest and most effective approach. There are specific groups who need to be especially careful. First, those with hypertension or cardiovascular disease. Breath holding can be particularly lethal for these individuals, so always consult a doctor before starting exercise. Second, people with glaucoma or retinal conditions also need caution. Sudden increases in intraocular pressure can worsen symptoms. Third, pregnant women must be even more careful. Holding breath can reduce oxygen supply to the fetus. Fourth, middle-aged men, especially those with abdominal obesity, may experience stronger Valsalva effects and need particular attention. Let me give you a practical checklist for proper breathing during exercise. Before starting your workout, Practice diaphragmatic breathing for 3 to 5 minutes. Place your hand on your belly and confirm that it expands when inhaling and contracts when exhaling. This helps you naturally maintain deep breathing during exercise. Healthy exercise habits are habits that can last a lifetime. Starting today, pay attention to your breathing. When exercising in front of a mirror, listen to the sound of your breath. If you're holding it, consciously exhale slowly and inhale again. This small change will transform your exercise journey and ultimately ensure a healthy future. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe with notifications turned on for more health information. If you know people who exercise, please share this video. Your small attention could save someone's life. Stay healthy.